there's enough visual difference when she is and is not Thor. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
Like, and that was
It's
done
strange.
really
She holds
well.
a hammer and suddenly her hair gets blonde. I didn't understand that, but apparently the hammer likes
Yeah, I
blondes.
guess you have to be if you're a Viking warrior.
You have to be more blonde. Fair. Hello, and welcome to the BizDev Podcast, the podcast about developing your business. I am David Baxter, your host. I'm joined today, as always, by wannabe didgeridoo player Gary Voigt. How's it going?
It's going all right. It's the lessons are tough. Didgeridoos are tough, but
It's hard to find a teacher, I bet.
Well, I mean, the yodeling, I can't do that anymore since you exposed that. So
It's fair. So you pick up the didgeridoo. I will simply just ruin all the instruments that you pick up from now on.
yeah,
All right.
probably.
So we are here at this podcast to discuss topics ranging from tech news, software development, leadership, small business, strategies, the whole bit. It all relates, and we try to make it entertaining while we do it. So, Gary, I'm going to let you like I'm
Yes, thank you.
giving
for
you the
allowing
keys.
me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Right? That's my gift to you. I can let you kick it off. Actually, you're starting this off because I have no idea what you're about to talk about.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up just to let everybody know, just relax. Good news, the Lo-Fi Girl is back. Thank you. Yeah.
So,
And if
what is Lo-Fi
You don't know
Girl?
what the Lo-Fi Girl
I'm
is. but
old, so tell me what the Lo-Fi
Like
Girl is.
668 million other people know what the Lo-Fi Girl is. It's a dedicated channel to lo-fi hip-hop jazz music on YouTube. You know how YouTube have those music channels, and there's a bunch of different companies that'll put them up there. That is like a stream, 24/7 stream of just like music in the background to work to study to, listen to, or whatever. Well, Lo-Fi Girl was basically one of the ones that caught on quick and like made that trend or that genre like super impactful, where tons of people will listen every single day. So Lo-Fi Girl is basically, it's like a 90s era hip hop and Japanese style jazz fusion elevator music, if you want to put it that
Wow,
way.
you are
for
so
people
not
in my
selling
age
that for me.
genre. Oh, well, if you're not a fan of hip hop or jazz, you wouldn't even blink about it. You wouldn't like it.
I've seen her picture though. Like I know when you say Lo-Fi Girl,
yeah.
I've actually seen that because it's that popular.
It's just that animated loop of what seems to be probably like a young, I would say maybe Japanese Asian girl, kind of hunched over her desk studying, writing something in a notebook with headphones on, and her cat's in the windowsill. Everybody's seen it.
I've always wondered how those work. Like how it was taken down last week or something because people said it was a copyright problem. And I've
Yeah,
always
that's-
wondered, how is it not a copyright problem? How does she get, I'm saying she, I don't know, whoever the person is making this video, how do they not just steal everybody's music?
Well, a lot of the music is actually sent in or given to them or from digital platforms that don't have copyright claims on it. Like a lot of people will put their music into these playlist bins that will get them exposure, and that's like one of those channels. So,
Okay, so-
it did get taken down because of a copyright claim, but it wasn't from any actual person. It was just a bot. It was one of these things.
Oh,
Like,
just automatic thing.
Do you know when podcasting start, there were companies that tried to trademark the name podcast, and then they would try to go after all the big podcasts and sue them
Sure.
for using the word. Yeah, it's similar to that. So just because they're playing music and there's not really one main artist or author or company that owns, it's just a collection of music. They just start spitting out copyright claims. And then, YouTube's first reaction is, okay, we'll take it down until we check it out. And then it took about a week. They checked it out. There's no real copyright claims that have to get, there's no abusive copyright claims that make any sense for this one, since all the music is actually either given to the channel or played without any kind of restrictions.
My son makes electronic music, which I mentioned before. He did our theme song, and I have mentioned, I don't know if it was specifically this one, but there are others, and I've said, hey, why don't you submit one of your songs here? And he was like, he didn't understand, and I don't either, how you would get exposure that would be worth anything. Like, is there a list of the links underneath this lady?
Yes.
Okay.
As the music plays, most of these channels, like one of the other channels that I've listened to is called Music Lab. And yeah, as the music plays, a lot of times either in the little animated picture on YouTube, the title will come up, or there's like a chat window. It'll list the song, the name of the artist, or underneath as they're playing, it'll kind of tell you like they'll give you a chunk of time of what's playing, and then they'll update that as things play. So yeah, there is linkage, but yeah, the exposure versus value thing for any form of art is always a tipsy scale. It's
Tipsy?
I mean, some people will do it like,
drink?
no, I mean, what's the value there? It's never really
Sure.
even. So a lot of people will just say, I made this music, I'm just going to put it out there for people to hear it. And then if they like it, maybe they'll backtrack it to, say if you had a SoundCloud channel or something like that, or Bandcamp or something. Other people will be like, no, I'm not giving anybody my music because I think it's worth, all this money, and therefore I'm not showing it. But then if you don't put it out there for people to hear it, then who else is ever going to?
Yeah, how do you grow?
Yeah.
So
Like designers today in the digital age, if it's so weird, it's hard to get recognized if you don't have like a portfolio of work out there on multiple platforms like Behance, Dribble, everything that can do, and your own website. But then again, a lot of times there's a ton of graphic artists that are really, really good that just don't have time to dedicate putting their stuff out there. You know what I mean?
it's funny you mentioned that.
It's a
So
double-edged sword.
You remind me of I don't know if I would call this a topic, but you remind me of something that I've seen so many times, and including when I started my own business. Whenever you start a business, especially in the electronic, digital space, development, design, those kinds of things, everyone goes through the stage, and I'm not sure, at some point it stops, and I can't tell you when it stops, but every business starts, and you get the clients, and I'm going to put air quotes around clients on that one. Hey, if you build me X, I will, for free, I will get you so much exposure.
I've made many a T-shirt for exposure.
I'm sure. Yeah. Hey, you're behind the scenes here. So
Posters,
Gary told me,
album art.
I thought about making a T-shirt business of one thing because I like my T-shirts, right? I got funny T-shirts. And I was like, hey, Gary, let's start a T-shirt company. He deadpans. This wasn't even over video. I could feel the mocking coming from Gary. He's like, not you two. And he's like, do you realize how many times people have come up to me and go, hey, Gary, you want to make a T-shirt company? He said the future. He goes, hey, you're going to get excited and you're going to come up with a couple of ideas and then you're going to forget about this. And he was 100% right. So kudos to you. We did not start a T-shirt company. I buy other people's T-shirts. It's much faster that way. Anyway, but I do think it's interesting when you start a new business like that. I don't know where these people come from. It's like an ambulance chaser for new businesses. I don't even know, because it's like as soon as you put your shingle up and you say, I'm in business, all these people come out of nowhere and they're like, hey, can you give me free work? And
in my opinion, it's a predatory marketing attempt. But it's not marketing for you, it's marketing for them.
Oh, of course.
Something you give them, and then you're going to reap the benefits and rewards from.
Yeah, because they're gonna blow
reap any
up.
benefits, rewards. Yeah,
they're a brand new company too, and they're gonna blow up. And when you're brand new, you will feel that tension. I'm not sure that. Well, what if they blew up? That would be huge. Maybe I should give it to them for free.
On something that might
your FOMO
work. Yeah, for sure.
And I want to encourage every new business owner out there, don't do that. It won't work. It won't work. The odds of you doing free work and that person exploding and bringing you all this new work is almost zero. And I will tell you from experience, they will be the worst clients you ever have. There is some relationship between how much you pay and how obnoxious the client is.
100%.
The more you pay,
truth.
It makes no sense here, but I will tell you, this is truth, hard-earned truth. The more you pay, a client pays you, the less obnoxious they often are. And
100% true.
It is weird. It sounds so counterintuitive because you're like, well, if they're paying more, then they're going to be a lot pickier. No, it's strange how that works. Someone explained it to me this way, and I think this is what's true. I'm not taking credit for this.
I got an idea too, but I want to hear yours first.
The idea that someone told me was, let's say someone's got $500 to build a website. I'm just making that up. but that's all they've got. They literally, they're just getting started, whatever. They scrounge up $500. They want to sell their soap or whatever. And they give you that $500. That $500 to them is everything they have. And they want to spend every penny of that $500 correctly. And so they're going to be nitpicky and they're going to be really obnoxious to make sure that they're getting the most value. They're going to wring that check as hard as they can. If you're paying $10,000 for a website, you're hiring a professional and you're going to let them do their job. That's what I've heard. And I find that to be true.
And if you have the resources to pay $10,000 for a website, chances are in the past you tried that $500 for a website thing and it didn't go so well.
It probably didn't go well. And you probably don't ever talk to that web developer again.
Yeah. Typically, if it's someone who actually knows that they're spending a certain amount of money that they have budgeted for a project and they're going to trust the experts to do it because they've been either burned in the past or had good experiences in the past based on who they hire or what they're willing to pay for something like that. Yeah. Typically the clients with bigger budgets or more money to spend tend to just get out of the way and let you do what they hired you to do.
Yeah, let you be the pro. You'll hear me say that a lot. Let experts be experts. And that's true for your own business, your people that you hire, and vendors that you hire. But it's funny. So long story short, because I'm totally off on a tangent, this is not on our list of things to talk about. But long story short, when you're starting out, please do not accept the free work for exposure. That is a trap. You will be angry at yourself when you do it. We all do it, so don't get me wrong. Yeah. We all do it.
Especially you designers. Don't fall into the trap of big companies or corporations having contests for, you have the chance to have your artwork displayed on one piece of merch for this one celebrity or artist or company or whatever, and then out of the say 2,500 to 3,000 artists that submit stuff that don't read the actual terms of agreement and see at the bottom there that
they own
upon submission, they now own the rights to your art and can use it whenever they want without giving you a dime. So, yeah. Don't fall into that trap.
Now, there are exceptions to that. I think games, not to go off too far off in the weeds here, but I think game companies are often pretty good about that. Like Fortnite has done lots of gizmos and doodads, and they end up in the game and they try to credit those people. I think they've done a pretty good job. I think a lot of fan art,
and bad actors, but
yeah. I mean, Blizzard was really well known for all. I mean, they've had so many big games that have huge fan bases, and they have a big whole portal about fan art for Warcraft and Diablo and all those. I think they do a pretty good job. But again, that's not really I'm trying to be a professional. It's just I love this character. I'm going to doodle and make something cool.
Yeah. Which goes back to my original point with the audio. Like if you make it and you just want people to hear it, you're just going to put it out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I encourage my son to do that, but he's like what you were saying. My stuff has value, and I want to make sure that it is. I mean, he puts it up on YouTube for free, right? But every single thing he puts up there just about is for sale. And so you can buy leases and all sorts of stuff, but he won't put things up for free unless there's a way to purchase it. That's his thing, and that's fine. I mean, I don't say that's right or wrong, but anyway. So you wanted to talk about, Amazon did a big redesign, trying to get back on the rails here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually complete because I haven't checked my actual Amazon streaming channel, but
I have not seen
it. Redesign has been in the news. I've seen a couple of articles about it. Basically, they're just Amazon Prime's streaming service, the menu options and the way you scroll through it was more like just a library, and it wasn't very like enticing and appealing. So they kind of took cues from say Netflix or even like Xbox or PlayStation, something like that, where the interaction of the stuff that they want to feature is more prominent, and it kind of pulls you in to look deeper into what's available. But yeah, the design itself is way more enticing and promotional for their products instead of just like a bunch of thumbnails that you just scroll through with different category headings and whatnot. Of course, I'm guessing that stuff's still going to live behind the initial couple of screens, but from the images that I've seen so far, the screens are pretty much exactly like Netflix's features.
Here's I'm going to get on my soapbox here because I have a lot of thoughts on streaming apps. and I don't understand why they're all so bad. Like, why is it so hard? I'm watching Suits right now.
That's a great
which is
show.
a great show. Never watched it before. I was starting to see things. They were doing little clips on Instagram, and I'm like, I'm digging what this is saying. This is fun. I enjoy this. So I'm starting to watch. I'm on second season. Why is it so hard on almost every app to just pick up where you left off? I have to click like like Netflix is the worst. Like finding the row on Netflix that says this is what you're watching right now is so buried. I have to get through 12 Netflix things that I don't care about at all, plus 6 rows of junk of movies that I was watching this show. I probably 9 times out of 10, if I'm back in your app, I'm going to continue that show. There's so many things, why is it so hard, or why can't they come up with a single way to skip the intro? Like the first time Netflix introduced that, I think, oh, that is amazing.
That's one
does a
feature that I
pretty good job.
wish they had. Well, they do a pretty good job. You have to skip the intro. You have to press the button. But do you remember Netflix did this thing now where if you're watching a show, if you're binging and you're watching a couple episodes in a row, they'll kind of automatically skip the end credits and start the next one?
Yes.
Now, imagine if they could do that. Like if they see you skipping the intro, say 3 times in a row, then
I never
fourth
need to see that intro
episode,
again.
It'll just go right past the intro. And then just start so it's almost like a continuation without
can be smart,
the theme
right?
music coming up again.
Why can't it be smart? I mean,
would be
it's not
awesome.
like this isn't their own content, especially. They can put a little
not like
flag
they don't
that
have
says
the money.
beginning and end, right? And they know that I'm watching the 12th episode. I'm probably going to skip it. Just skip it for me. Just do it. I don't know. There's just so many things. Hulu, I think, is the worst because we watch all of our network TV. When I say that, I mean The Bachelor. We watch all of our network TV.
You're embarrassing me.
You are ashamed to admit that you're talking to someone who watches The Bachelor. Hey, I'm watching The Bachelor right now. There's 2 of them. It's exciting. All right.
No, I understand the value in junk TV, so that's fine.
I just don't get just like to find it and keep continuing. It's like 27 clicks. I just don't. I will say the Amazon. I haven't seen it except for screenshots here and there. I'm sure it's lovely. There's beautiful pictures, but that's not what I care about. Seriously, you should figure. And I understand. There's a whole podcast I was listening to about why recommendation engines are so difficult. I get that. That is a technological nightmare to figure out what you might want to watch next. I get that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
But you know what I want to watch next because I literally just finished it. So just let me do that.
If it's within the continuation of the same series or the next season of the same series. What I found kind of annoying and frustrating is apparently, like Netflix or Amazon or even, I think Disney Plus does a pretty decent job. But let's just say some of these bigger streaming services that have a gigantic library of stuff to watch, and yet you can sit there and scroll through all the channel categories and look through all the image cards and still have no idea what to watch because you're still only scratching like 1% of what they have. But there's no easy way to be like, hey, show me all the action movies you can kind of search actors and you can
but
search genres.
you don't even know to search.
But
the
believe it or
actors.
not,
like I want to watch an Arnold
Roku
Schwarzenegger movie, but I might not know that. But I might say, I'd like to see an 80s action movie. Right? Like, make that easy.
The Roku device does a really good job of that. Like, we have Roku in one of our TVs. The other one's just straight plugged in through the Xbox, whatever. But the little Roku device, like, you can search on Roku, and it's a pretty robust search engine, and it'll tell you every streaming service that it's on, whether it's, like, it'll highlight the ones that are free and then give you the ones that are paid and how much the cost is and where you can find it. And that's
and it's nice
easier
when you
to
can do
find,
the voice, too.
Random stuff. Yeah.
Anyway. I feel like we've beat this dead horse, but someone figure this out. It's not that hard. It really isn't. You've done the hard part. You've got the great content. Just make it easy to watch, man. Come on now. I think my last thing I'll say, Disney does a very good job of it because you're only there to watch 4 or 5 things, right? They've got silos of content.
Yeah. Their
and
platform
everything
is
that they
not
have
so spread out.
It's not everything. It's just, and I think Disney's very good at that. And my daughter watches all the little teeny bopper shows, and we get our money's worth just for that because it's just I want to see the more teeny bopper shows, and boof, off she goes.
All right, something I want to talk about today was we've touched about it before in podcasts, mental health. It's a big thing. And a lot of larger companies probably have mental health, like benefits that go through maybe health insurance or through HR or something. You're going to find bigger companies might offer that as a service. But for smaller businesses and smaller teams, it's probably something that's not quite, I guess, affordable to present. But you luckily found a way to get a cool new service for us that's basically for our mental health, and it's for a smaller team. We met, I guess you could say, the mental health expert today. Now, this guy is going to be dedicated to us anytime we call, text, email, have an issue, just want to spill our guts to him, or, talk about problems, what's making us angry, or just whatever, chit chat.
Mainly they just complain about me.
His name's Jerome, and he's basically a superhero, like in real life.
Dude, he was
Plus, he's
telling
also
some
like a
stories
mental health
today.
expert.
So I don't want to steal his thunder if you ever get to meet Jerome, but he used to be in the military, and he has a very amazing story of how he saved Chuck Norris's life, and he showed pictures. And so it was interesting because he was telling the story. It was we met him today, and he was telling an icebreaker story, and he's a storyteller. I mean, he just had my whole team, which is a very diverse group of people, and they were just riveted. And it was
everybody was hanging on every word he was saying.
It was good stuff.
And it was like so comfortable and cool that it's like, I mean, he went into some of his background is unreal, and he speaks so many different languages, and he has so much experience with just not only mental health but also like physical health. He used to be like a lifeguard. He used to be.
This is like a plug for
guy.
Jerome.
No, well,
but
I'm not trying to blow Jerome up here, but I just wanted to say that, like, this little thing that you looked into for, I guess, helping out for our team, like just having some sort of resource that might not be a psychiatrist or anything like that, but it's pretty close and probably all that anybody actually needs. And this seems like it's going to be an actual winner when it comes to
I'm
a
hoping
benefit that we're offering.
So it came about. I mean, our job is stressful. We have tight deadlines. We work really hard. You have to work with me. That's all very difficult. I wanted something to address that, to talk to that, to be, because here's a leadership thing that is really hard to wrap your head around when you're a new business leader. People don't want to talk to you. You could be the nicest girl or boy on the planet, and no one on your team wants to talk to you because you're the boss. And that is hard. Like, you need to give your people a place where they can talk schmack about you in a safe place. And like, I don't know if there are Slack channels that's just Bash David. I'm totally fine if there are, but I don't know that because they're private and I can't see them, and that's totally fine. But it's like, and it's different with a remote company, right? Because there's no one's going.
Let me just get.
There's about to be.
There wasn't, but there was. No, I'm just joking.
The old school way of doing it, right, is you would all be in the office, and afterwards you go to get dinner or the bar or whatever, and you hang out
or something.
Yeah, and the boss would not be invited. And that, if you're having an in-person company, when you're a brand new leader, that is very hard because they're all leaving and you didn't get an invite. And you could be, again, the coolest, nicest person on the planet, but the whole point of that conversation is to not include you. And they need to badmouth you. They need to talk, drama and stuff. And that's, to a point, is healthy. To a point.
Yeah. And well, the thing is, too, understand that the frustrations are not always specifically about the boss. Or,
sure, it could be a
their
client,
manager, their supervisor. It could just be any kind of frustration, stress, or things, pulling down on their shoulders related to their job. But of course, you're never going to tell the person that is in control of your paycheck how you're feeling in those moments, because immediately you're going to be like, well, they don't think I could do the job.
Sure.
They think I'm
Yeah.
unhappy,
Then you get in your own head as the
looking
boss.
for someone else to fill my shoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's
not necessarily about a boss being a bad boss. It's just, you just need somewhere to vent that's not going to be filtered back.
Well, and here's the truth of it,
boss.
From my perspective. I'm a fixer. Most bosses are fixers because they're They're doers, right? By their nature, they're doers. And if someone complains to me, I want to fix it. And sometimes I
Instead of
can't.
just listen.
Yeah, I'm not going to listen because I'm going to fix it. And sometimes, though, you might think that they're about to quit. Oh my gosh, he's really mad or she's really mad. That client really ticked them off. Man, they're overworked. And they're not going to quit. They might be loving their job, but they need to vent a little bit. And if they're venting to you, who has the ability to do something about it, it puts a weird pressure on you. So you really don't want that. So I know that. And I've been looking for a while for something that they could help. And other people, there's a stat, gosh, I can't remember what it is, but it's something to the effect of if someone in your company gets a divorce, just as an example, a major event in their life, it costs your company a huge amount of money. Again, I don't remember the number, but it's like a big chunk of their salary. Let's say they're a $50,000 a year guy. While they're getting divorced, that person's productivity is going to go into the tank. And so your cost for that is enormously high. So you as a boss,
And you don't want to
it
be the
sounds
boss that
counterproductive.
fires him right when he got a divorce either, because
Fair.
it's unproductive. So
Well, the problem is you might not even know it, right? Like if you're a
That's
large enough company, he's so far down or she's so far down the chain, you necessarily know it, but it's still happening, right? The amount of business productivity. So it sounds, well, why am I investing in someone's mental health? They could just suck it up, right? Just, put on your big boy pants and rub dirt in it, whatever. Yeah, okay. But it's going to cost you in the end of the day, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So you can spend some money now to make sure your people are in a healthy space as best you can. You can't solve all divorces, of course, but a lot of problems can be solved if they have a way to chat. And so we looked into it. I mean, this is a learning thing for me and as well. We looked into Better Health. The company we ended up going with is called Corporate Chaplains. But we looked into several of them, and they're really expensive. I mean, they were really expensive. And for my little company, like Gary was saying, there wasn't a lot of options. It's just, I mean, full on therapy is just, whoa, really expensive. And you're not going to be able to afford that. But
yeah, and if you're a small business and you're not actually, if you're not providing health insurance options and all that stuff to bundle whatever,
but
those
even
services
that,
from psychiatrists into it, it's still just crazy expensive.
even if you have health insurance, most of them don't cover psychological stuff. And if they do, they'll give you a couple of sessions, which is not going to do anything anyways. And so none of that really worked. And none of that really sat well with me and my mission for our company. And so when I found this company, it was affordable for us, and they provide someone to talk to. That's literally it. He checks in once a week with every single person. And again, this isn't a plug for them. It filled the niche that we were looking
The
for.
idea behind it, yeah.
And
plus,
what
they make it very clear that anything you tell them is, of course, is just between you and them. Everything's
the boss never
nothing
hears
ever gets
about it.
back to anybody.
Yeah.
Everything is private, unless, of course, it starts to teeter in the realm of causing harm.
Yeah, illegal stuff.
Yeah, anything like
But
that. But for the most part, it's basically you just unload on these people, get the stress off of you, and they'll either just listen, or if you want advice, they'll give you advice. And based on their background and their knowledge and everything, the advice they're going to give you is probably going to be expert level advice.
But they're not professionals in that regard. That's important to know.
They're
It's not in our case.
actual
Now,
psychiatrists.
what I would encourage you as a business leader, again, I'm not selling anything here. I'm not getting kickback. It's not sponsored or anything. What I'm saying, though, is if you have a team of 5+ people, 10 people, we're at 10 right now. We just hired our 10th, which is kind of weird. We've never been double digits before, at least full-time employees. So when you have a team of 5 to 10 bigger, really think about that. There is a cost-effective way, if you look into it, to get your people mental health support, because I promise you it's cheaper than letting it spiral out of control. The loss of productivity, firing someone and rehiring someone is very expensive. And I know it sounds cold-hearted and all that, and that's not really where it comes from, but that's the business case for it, right? That's the thing. You can find a business case. It's not just, I have a bleeding heart, and there's a business side to this that I want to prevent. I can't remember. There was an issue internally and someone was having issues, and I was like, I have no recourse here. I can't help them. And I didn't like that. And so that's when I started looking. Anyway,
Yeah.
highly, they said today that only 2% of corporations invest in their company's mental health. That's what they told us today when we had our onboarding session.
2%.
I didn't know that stat before. That's intense. That's a big problem, and I think it should be addressed. Corporations should lean more into that. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox. I'm done.
Yes. And as a small team, we mentioned passion in a previous podcast. And yeah, even though we are a small team, the team is passionate about what they do. So it's with that passion, you take on a lot of personal responsibility for the problems you're solving and the work that you're doing. And sometimes even if, that little stress can build up and build up and build up if you're not finding the results that you're trying to achieve every single week in the background, that'll just start to eat you up. So having this extra little outlet to kind of exhale and then reset without, anybody worrying about how you're feeling or what you're saying within the small company itself, or, that's pretty cool to have.
Agreed.
I was just going to talk about how summer vacation is gone because kids don't have any free time anymore. But
my kids' summer vacation is
anything else
5 weeks long. They just went back. They have year-round school.
Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah. I think it's really cool because they get 3 weeks off in the end of September. And I think that's way cooler. Like, summer to me is that first month. It's really exciting. It's new. I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to go to the pool, whatever. But that second and third month, when I was a kid, you're like, I'm bored. I'm so bored. So to me,
yeah, I was totally the opposite.
Oh yeah, you loved your summer vacations.
Yeah. Every day of summer, before I was old enough to actually have to work and do stuff, every day during the summer was just like a brand new vacation adventure of which friend am I going to hang out with? Am I going to go to the beach? Am I going to go skate? Am I going to, what movies are we going to rent? It was just a nonstop awesome adventure.
Oh wow, your summer
But
sounds
my kids
really
now,
cool, man.
They're both teenagers. They were awesome. Until I was about 15 and I had to start working.
Yeah, I had a job, and now summer means work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which was going to bring up my daughters. They're both teenagers, and so they were looking so forward to summer that in fact my oldest daughter is taking college classes, going to band camp, and has signed up for another thing that she's doing in school for what they call color guard, which is they work with the marching band. They throw
The
the
flaggy
flags
people,
and do
yeah.
dancing routines and stuff yeah. And so she's really into that. So her summer is just nonstop work every single day. My younger daughter decided she's going to try out for volleyball. Now, volleyball season starts when school seasons start, or when the school starts. But the training for volleyball, even just the training to try out for volleyball, well, that started pretty much in late April, early May, and it's nonstop.
It's like old school
she's
two-a-days.
Between conditioning camp, and then volleyball training camp, and then actual pre-tryout practices and stuff. It's ridiculous. Every single day we're driving one or the other back and forth to these different things. So much that my older daughter, who should be spending the time practicing her driving and getting her license and that stuff, doesn't have time to do that.
Oh man, don't get me started on that. But
there's no more summer vacation.
That reminds me when I was
I'm upset for
I
him.
played football in Texas, which is of course its whole thing. Friday Night Lights is real. That is a real thing. The fun story. The high school I went to, which was Plano Senior High, the city that Friday Night Lights was based on was called, the real city is Odessa Permia. And it's this tiny little town that's really good at football. The school I went to was their big rival. So
Okay.
all of that was
You were the
very
rich kids
true.
that they had to battle for state championship.
Yeah, my junior year we won state championship. I don't think we went against them in that year, but that was our big rival, and they were across the state, and it was blah blah blah. But that show always spoke true to me. But I played I played football in early high school. I was not good, but I remember two-a-days. Coming back to the summertime. Two-a-days in Texas heat in August is a magical experience. Oh my gosh. I didn't do many of them because I only played as a freshman.
we-
but oh my gosh, that is so miserable.
In Florida, there's now rules that they can only do certain things at certain times during the day, and if the heat goes up to a certain index, then they have to move things indoors, and there has to be a certain amount of hydration and
Bunch of
monitoring and
babies.
stuff goes on. Because no, I mean there were kids getting seriously
kids.
sick.
Here's the
and
thing.
dehydrated and hospitalized.
That is tragic and true and should be avoided. I'm not arguing that. But kids have been doing 2-a-days for 50 years. And the
Yeah.
reason kids get dehydrated and stuff is because the coaches are taking bad care of them, not because 2-a-days inherently are evil. You can hydrate a kid.
No,
you can
it's
keep
just
them cool.
It's, yeah,
But if you're a bad coach, then yeah, you might that might fall apart, and that's kind of a shame. But that's okay. I'm old and cranky, just in general. All right. On that note,
well, they don't make new rules for people that follow the rules.
That's true.
They make new rules
It's-
because bad people,
it's the same thing
bad
that
coaches.
that's like the don't shake the Coke bottle and open it in your eye. That warning that's on every Coke bottle now. I think it should be the same thing. Don't have a 2-a-day without a lot of water. I mean, duh, man, duh.
Yeah, that's basically the rules.
Anyway.
So
Okay, we are done. If anyone wants to make fun of us, how would they do so, Gary?
well, if they did that, I would just call Jerome and be like, look, man, we got to talk about these people making fun of me.
Oh, please.
First of all, David watches The Bachelor.
Yeah, he
He's making
does.
fun of my didgeridoo. And no, seriously, if you had any comments, questions, or ideas, or any topics you want us to talk about, you can email us at hello@thebigpixel.net, or you can actually listen to or watch this podcast on YouTube and leave a comment in the comment section.
Or we're now on Instagram and we're on Twitter.
Yeah, you could.
And I think we're even on TikTok,
LinkedIn, Instagram,
which
Twitter.
I despise TikTok.
I don't know if the TikTok thing is still happening.
Is that not? Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Well, I would never check it because
I don't
I
know.
hate TikTok. But I keep getting emails from
We
them
don't want you to check it because it's just all videos of you.
doing the
All the
dance.
bloopers
What's
from
up?
this.
All right. And on that beautiful note,
All right.
we're out of here. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you next time.